Hey guys, it's Untitled from Tkon here. The other guys have kind of left me to do this by myself, and now basically the plan is to go through a quick beginner's guide of Civ. This is going to be a two-part tutorial between I'm going to do a beginner's one and then I'm going to do an advanced one. So, stay tuned. Hey guys, the first thing you want to do when you start a new Civ game is basically select the difficulty level. Obviously, if you've played Civ before, you might be tempted to start at a higher difficulty level, but I would really not recommend this. The game's changed a lot. The tech tree is completely different. I'm going to talk about that later. So even for your first couple of games, I just choose Mercury just to get used with the AI especially. Secondly, you want to choose the game speed. This is just going to change how fast your units build, etc, etc. If you increase the map size, it's going to make it a lot harder to attack other people if you want to go that way, and the game's going to take a lot much longer. So if you're playing with friends, I'd speed the game up because there's no such thing as a short Civ game anyway. There's also a dual map, which would probably be good for one-on-ones. I'm just going to accept this and move on to the next bit of the game setup. Okay, so next you're going to choose your sponsor. This is basically like your class slash race, which is a bit different from the other civs, since you don't get special units and stuff. But they do affect like a passive bonus to all your cities, etc., which is gonna determine your playstyle. So before you even like start choosing your characters and stuff, you want to say how you're gonna play this game. Obviously, it's gonna be very different. You could get into the game and change it completely, but it's nice to have a good head start and sync everything together before you start playing. So next, you're going to pick a couple of more things. These kind of like how you pick your races, they just give you some passive bonuses, some important, not some, so not. You're going to pick some colonists. They're basically, it's like a small version of the race, they just give you some passive bonus at the beginning. Some of them can be used per city, so they're quite useful. Spacecraft is very dependent on the game style and the map you're playing. If you're playing a map with a lot of like frenzied aliens, which is an advanced feature, you're gonna want to be able to identify the alien hives. Aliens are just like a passive, like a mob, which a non like it's an AI type of unit which will attack you or befriend you depending on what's going on. I'll explain them later basically. Uh, Lastly, you're gonna want to pick your cargo. Your cargo is kind of stupid. There's only real two choices in my eyes. The soldier could be good too, but the laboratory would be useful for a fast expand. Would be useful in some situations maybe, but mainly I think the worker is going to be best because you want to be improving your towers from like as fast as you can to make sure you get that good head start economy and military wise. So I don't see any other reason before that. Lastly is maps. There's some really good maps in Civ and there's some advanced maps as well. The advanced maps are basically brilliant because you get that guy who always plays the same routine over and over again. The advanced maps can really force you to change playstyle. So the guy who always plays war might have to actually play harmony because if he's got nowhere to expand and it's most of it's C, it's going to be a bit of a different game. So I'm just going to start the game and I will see you when it loads. Hello guys, we've just loaded back and this is basically what you see when you first load into the game. Obviously I've taken the greater landing zone, so I'm going to get more choice of where I can land and possibly see further. So when you want to land, you want to pick the area with the most food tiles. If you can't see the food tiles, you go in the little eye on the right hand corner. You click that so you can see the tiles. Obviously the more food you get, the faster your city is going to grow, so the more production you can have. It's always a good thing to have. You also want to take into account the other resources, which obviously you're going to allow to build on. They're going to add more production, they're going to add more special resources, depending on what they are. I'll go through some of the resources you're going to have to look through in a minute because they're related to the supremacy and harmony and purification route. So they're going to help you military and stuff like that. Otherwise, it's basically just for economy. So you're going to pick a location, make sure you don't go, pick an area with a lot of land. As you can see now, I pick it in the middle of everything, not near the sea, because obviously I can't build stuff on the sea. So I want to basically maximize my economy from the earliest stages possible. Okay, once you've decided where to land, first thing you want to do is basically start constructing on your tiles. Obviously you can only construct on the tiles that you own. If you want to buy more and expand your land, it's going to do that automatically as your cities grow, or you can buy it using energy, which is basically the money. To build, you need a worker. You're going to go over to the bit of land and you're going to select what construction thing to build. Originally, you're not going to be able to build on everything, but as you get more science and stuff, you're going to be able to advance your technology and build on the rest of the towers. Likewise with that, your cities also produce something, which is based on your production and stuff. So you want to click the cog and choose what you want to build. Different cities take different amount of turns to build things depending on the production and number of people in the city. They're going to provide you with health benefits, production benefits, military benefits. Basically it. Another two new things Civ 6 introduces is the use of orbitals, which are basically a new level above the existing playing layer, which offer new military units and resource gaining. And secondly, quests. Quests are short-term goal scenarios in which the player is going to be looking for exploration. You can use explorers to uh, basically go into tombs and get information out of that. But these build up later on into the game, and as you progress, can lead to victory conditions, in which usually take up a lot amount of resources and time. One of the last few big changes to Civ is this ugly tech tree. While it gets rid of the needs for ages and stuff, it's a lot more advanced in the way you can play the game. For instance, a player can specify the specific route he wants to go down, mixed with the tree and the supremacy, harmony, and purity routes. It allows lots of choices in how you want to play and in which order you build things. Sea-based map might be used to research more sea-based units, obviously, and if you want to take over cities, you want to get the artillery. Related to the quests are the supremacy, harmony, and purity route. Depending on what actions you take in your quest will depend on which route you're going to lead down. This can also be helped by the tech tree, in which it will push you down certain routes as well, depending on which technology you research. Each route uses different resources to help build its machinery. Some can improve like for buildings for your cities, others can be used for like orbital units, military units, etc. Harmony is working with the natural environment, purity is basically everybody loves humans, supremacy is the next stage of human evolution, basically robots. It's really cool. These use different resources, so depending on which resources you have in your area is basically which route you want to go down. Again, like the supremacy, harmony, and purification routes, there is the tree. The tree is the virtue system from the other Civ games, but they've revamped it and mixed it with the other features, such as to merge well with the routes and the different playstyles. Of course, you also get a bonus if you click so many virtues in different things, which can give you free virtues. But yeah, so generally you want to choose the tree you go down, same with the rest of the stuff before you even start playing the game. There's a production, health, military, and an economic one. I find the health one really useful because in the game when you're taking cities and stuff, you can lose a lot of health. They can provide everything to free settlers, to better military units, to improved production. So that's basically the tree. It's quite simple. Just going to show you the resources and then we'll get on to victory. Apart from the root resources such as fraxite and petroleum, the other resources include culture, health, and energy. Energy is basically the money of the game. You get it from buildings, building generators, some in which can be improved to provide different things down the routes. Health comes from treaties, diplomatic situations with other AI and players in the game. Having more health and improved production, having less health is going to reduce your production. So obviously when you take more cities, population stuff starts to reduce the overall effect. And lastly, culture. Culture is like the passive way to increase your borders. Whilst energy can do that, culture can do it peacefully, and there's lots of buildings you can go through, the harmony, like peaceful style play in order to maximize on this. Finally, to win the game, all you need to do is follow the massive ass quest chain, build the massive ass building, or take over the world. You can see other players' progression on the quest tab. You just click victories, that way you can see literally everything else other players are doing, which I think is kind of unfair because that means you can't sneak to victory.
La
It
bienvenida.
also means like everyone's on an even playing ground.
Fala despacio.
Yeah, as I said, some of these victories can take a very long amount of time, such as the beacon, which basically has you following an entire quest chain and then spending all your energy for the next 30 turns till you
Vamos
can't build
conversar.
anything. And if your capital city gets taken over, at the point where you're building anything, you have to start from the build all over again. That basically can put you back. I think that's everything in the game. Like, comment, subscribe, and tell me if you missed anything. Obviously I'm going to do an advanced tutorial later on to explain more features, probably covert ops and some high level alien command stuff. But thanks for listening, thanks for bearing with me, and I will catch you guys later.